Welcome to 7W Data Insights, the daily signal for leaders navigating data, AI, and digital transformation. If you want context, not hype, and clarity instead of noise, subscribing to the newsletter is where this conversation continues. Let's get into today's shift. That same consolidation logic is playing out in regulation and compliance. Regnology's acquisition of Moody's regulatory reporting and asset liability management solutions is another sign that fragmented point tools are giving way to unified platforms. As regulatory pressure increases and compliance costs rise, financial institutions are looking for single control points, systems that combine analytics, reporting, and AI-driven insight in one place. Here, the signal isn't just efficiency, it's resilience. Unified platforms make it easier to adapt when rules change, rather than scrambling across disconnected systems every time a new requirement appears. Which brings us to the human side of this transformation. New research shows workers are largely optimistic about AI. They believe it will improve their jobs, even as they expect it to reduce overall workforce size. The tension isn't fear, it's preparedness. Employees are ready. Many organizations aren't. Culture emerges as the real constraint. Transparency, psychological safety, and continuous learning determine whether AI becomes a force multiplier or a source of friction. The organizations seeing progress are the ones co-creating AI solutions with employees, being explicit about how roles will change and clearly defining which skills remain uniquely human. One more story rounds out today's picture. Trump Media announced a $6 billion merger with a nuclear fusion company developing energy solutions partly aimed at powering AI data centers. Strip away the politics, and the message is structural. AI's growth is now reshaping energy, infrastructure, and capital allocation decisions. Compute isn't just a technical concern anymore, it's a geopolitical and industrial one. So when you connect the dots, from AI-driven search and agentic commerce to enterprise consolidation, regulatory platforms, workforce readiness, and even energy, you see the same pattern. AI is no longer a feature you add. It's an intermediary shaping how value is discovered, delivered, governed, and scaled. The organizations that adapt their strategies to this new layer, across visibility, payments, work, and compliance, will remain visible in an AI-mediated world. The rest won't disappear overnight. They'll just slowly fade from the decision paths that matter. That's the shift worth paying attention to today. Here's the signal cutting through everything else today. AI has quietly moved between your customer and your business, and in many cases, it's deciding what gets seen, what gets bought, and which organizations stay relevant. Start with search. For years, ranking #1 on Google was the prize. That assumption no longer holds. New research shows Google's AI overviews now appear in roughly 1/3 of banking and insurance searches. When they do, even the top organic result loses about 30% of its click-through rate. The implication is subtle but profound. Search hasn't disappeared, but it's no longer just a traffic engine. It's becoming a visibility and trust layer controlled by AI-generated summaries that sit above everything else. Here's the shift. If AI is answering the question directly, your brand doesn't win by being clicked. It wins by being cited. For financial services in particular, this changes how SEO needs to be measured and managed. Quarterly reviews replace annual tuning. Authority signals, credibility, and explainability start to matter more than keyword precision. The organizations adapting fastest are already treating SEO less like marketing plumbing and more like reputation infrastructure. Now zoom out from search to commerce, because the same pattern is showing up there too. Visa made a bold declaration this week. 2025 will be the last year consumers shop alone. Behind that statement is real infrastructure. Visa has completed secure AI agent transactions and is laying the groundwork for agents that can discover products, compare options, and complete purchases autonomously, not in a demo environment, in real payment flows. This changes things in a very practical way. E-commerce strategies built around human browsing behavior, page layouts, funnels, and conversion nudges start to lose relevance when the buyer is software. The next competitive edge isn't how persuasive your product page looks to a human. It's how understandable, structured, and trustworthy your product data is to an AI agent making decisions on someone's behalf. The signal here is clear. We're moving from human-centered optimization to agent-centered optimization. And that transition is happening faster than many organizations expect. At the enterprise level, the consolidation story continues. Cognizant and Microsoft have expanded their partnership around agentic AI and co-pilot-driven workflows with a clear ambition to define what they call the frontier firm. This isn't about experimentation anymore. It's about embedding AI directly into how work gets done, across consulting, delivery, risk management, and operations. What stands out is where gravity is forming. Microsoft's ecosystem is becoming the default backbone for enterprise AI execution, while partners like Cognizant provide the industry-specific scale and delivery muscle. For leaders, this raises a strategic question. Are you designing your operating model around tools or around ecosystems that will compound over time?